So now, in order to deal with this properly, we have to deal with it through the liturgy. And otherwise, we cannot deal with it. So nowadays, at these end times, and at this very end of the end times, the greatest temptations of Catholics that are falling into a trap of knowledge, of a structured knowledge, are the Protestants. So that's why they come up with the formulas. And they come up with all kinds of systems and pedagogical ways of teaching us the scriptures. But we are not to approach the scriptures like that. Approach the scriptures as something that is alive, and is the Spirit of the Lord, and is the liturgy. And then you come into this Holy Bible by prayer. Pray, read, and don't expect to understand it. Because that is the biggest act of pride. I need to know, I need to understand. No. The Lord will give you the understanding on His will only. So the more you read the scriptures, not understanding them, the more your soul is going to be fed by the scriptures, because the soul knows what you're reading. And one day, your soul is going to be so nourished and strong from reading the Bible without understanding, that your own little human intellect is going to end up understanding it too. But if you begin backwards like Protestants, they begin by understanding the Bible humanly, intellectually, and then they pretend from there to jump into the Spirit. That's not the way it goes. It goes from the Spirit into the flesh by allowing God to speak to me even though I don't get it. So I keep on letting God talk to me, and I don't understand a thing, but I don't fight it. I don't bring pride in saying, I want to know, explain to me, who's talking about? Oh, this guy knows a lot. What is your interpretation of these words? Then you come into this incredible area of pride, you know. So if you just go humbly and read it in prayer, and let it sink in your heart, and keep on reading it, and hardly any of it you understand. Sometimes you do. Then you feel very happy. And then the next thing you know, you end up getting a lot of joy, because you end up understanding more and more and more and more, because there is no pride involved in that. There is no thirst to say, Lord, I don't understand, tell me what you mean. No, it's not about that. You know, it's like you just read it and take it. It's love, you know. You know, when you're speaking to a child that is not in full awareness of life, the child looks at you like this, and you tell him, don't break the window. No? And the child goes, but it takes a rock and goes to the window, right? Because it doesn't quite get it yet, but it knows that God is talking to him. Father, Daddy is talking to him, because that is the representation of God. It's the biggest things the child can see, Dad and Mom. So they don't quite get it, and many times they will go to do exactly what you told them not to do, because they don't get it yet. But they know you're talking to them. And little by little they begin to get it. And one day they know, oh, okay, I got it. I cannot break the glass, all right? Okay, I won't break it. And you trust them already, because you know they got it. So, and that's the way we have to approach knowledge with God. We have to know we are children. We're not going to get it just like that. We have to grow into the truth. Every angle of the truth is a revelation, and God is the one that decides when to reveal that to us. And the growth, He's the one that manages it, not us. So you see human pride, which is Martin Luther, that's pride, you know, saying, I do it my way because everybody's wrong. I don't like the church the way the church is going, so we have to build a new church. Forget about what we have. Forget about tradition. All of that is nonsense. 1500 years, the Holy Spirit was wrong. Now I have the inspiration. Well, let's make a new church. Imagine, that's so much pride. How could you imitate that? How could you follow that? Where do you think you're going to go if you follow that? You're going to go down, because that's not what God gave you. So if the Lord gave us the fullness of the gifts, we better embrace them the way He gave them to us. So we are not to imitate anything that is heretic or anything that do not believe in the fullness of the gifts, because you will be walking on a limb. You see, if you walk side by side, learning from somebody that doesn't believe in purgatory, somebody that doesn't believe in this and the other, how do you think you're doing? You're not doing well at all. It's like when you have a very good friend you hang out with all the time, but that person is living in common law, is stealing, is lying, and all of that, you're going to end up in bad shape, in trouble. It's not that I'm calling, don't take me wrong, because I'm not saying that Protestants are immoral or doing wrong things. Some of them are holier than we are. Some of them give us example as good Christians, and some of them are admirable. But we have to remember this. Look at the proof of the difference between us and them. You will never find an incorrupt body anywhere else but in the Catholic Church. Incorruptibles are only possible with the Eucharist. Only. There is no other way you can see an incorruptible body. So that shows us the responsibilities that we have. We have an amazing responsibility because it's beyond the Word. We cannot pretend that the Word and the Eucharist are the same. It's not the same, because the Eucharist is not a symbol. And the Word is not a symbol either, because it's life itself, because it's God Himself. But first there was the Word. First. And then what happened? The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And for the Word to dwell among us has to transubstantiate. And then that mystery is the one that feeds us, not the Word alone. So that transition is the one we cannot miss. That we have to be aware of that. And it's a condition for our citizenship. If we don't fulfill that condition, we are in trouble. Because if you were born a Protestant, you will be treated as a Protestant at the tribunal of the Lord. And He will only ask you what He gave them. He will be asked what they were given. But if you are a Catholic, you will be treated as a Catholic. And you have to present the gifts that were given to you.